my name is Emily and you are joining us at ITC Vegas. We're at the Live at ITC studio set, proudly sponsored by TIN. I'm thrilled to be joined here today by Arunima from Quantiphi, and today we're going to be talking about AI and transformation, as well as key customer concerns across distribution, operations, and customer service. But before we do that, let me just take a moment to ask Arunima to introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about your role at Quantiphi.
Sure, Emily. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm looking forward to our conversation. As you can see from my voice, having a lot of fun at ITC, a lot of conversations going on. My name is Arunima Gautam. I lead the go-to-market for financial services and insurance at Quantiphi. Quantiphi is an AI-first digital engineering firm. Our focus has been AI through and through, and in that journey, we have created a few products. I also lead one of our products that specializes for financial services and insurance called Quantiphi, which is around doc processing. We'll talk more about it in our conversation, but that's me.
Brilliant. And can you tell us a little bit more about Quantiphi's mission and a little bit about what sets you apart from others in the market?
Sounds good. Great question. Quantiphi it incepted almost 11 years ago, and the core mission was to solve AI problems in the industry. Our onset of the business was great with insurance carriers because two of the co-founders came from insurance. So we saw a lot of early successes here. In our journey, what we realized was around 2016, cloud was becoming the new normal. And what we understood is to be able to solve AI-related problems, cloud was a must for the scale of the data to be able to process data at that volume. That's when we started doing a lot of cloud transformation work for our customers, which is your platform modernization, infra, data modernizations, and other solutions like that. So as a company, we dwelled in applied AI solutions, which covered all parts of sight, sound, language, pattern, using AI intelligence in that space. We talk about digital twins, metaverses, etc. And on the modernization side, we do everything from infrastructure to data to customer experience modernization. That's Quantiphi. What sets us apart? Thank you for asking that question. What we have observed in our journey is that generally companies will have parallel segments of digital transformation and AI initiatives. What that does is, one always gets prioritized over the other because they are getting managed and governed by separate leaders, entities, etc. within the same organization. What we do differently is we think about AI-first digital engineering. We think of digital transformation from the lens of artificial intelligence. So even if you're talking about, cloud transformation, how can AI play a role? And now everybody is talking about it, right? After the whole generative AI motion, everyone is talking about how can I fast track the process of creating BRDs or, the process of generating code that can do ETLs on cloud faster using Gen AI. That has been our focus from the very beginning. And the company's core message is solving what matters. I would take just 30 seconds on that to talk to you a little bit about one of the impact stories that we had. Back when COVID onset, the state of Illinois was finding it difficult to handle all the different unemployment claim requests that were coming their way. A lot of people were calling them. That's when Quantiphi and Google Cloud together for the state of Illinois built a bot in 3 weeks that was deployed with the government that was able to handle 3.2 million queries, questions from customers who were, not so comfortable with the situation. So that is the type of impact we have made in the market, and that's why we say what we do here is for the greater good, and we are trying to solve what matters.
Wow, that's amazing. So with all the talks you've been having here at ITC, but also your customers across distribution, operations, customer services, what are some of the key concerns you're hearing from leaders in the industry?
Sure. I think if we talk about concerns, considering insurance is such a regulated body, the top concern still happens to be security and privacy. And when you talk about AI solutions, that becomes even more aggressive because you're talking about, training AIs on data sets that are fair, that are ethical. Sometimes, when you're trying to train AIs on historical data, maybe bias existed in that historical manual process as well. So how do you create that set that is diverse, that doesn't have the biases, so that, when the AI is predicting something or generating something for you, it's not biased. Security happens to be a big concern that everybody is talking about. The next big concern is, the return over investment that everybody is thinking about. I think the question is, Are we doing this because everybody else is doing it, or is this actually going to create productivity gains in my ecosystem? So that's the second big factor that everybody is talking about. And I think the third and most important one is organization change management, especially when you are talking about AI-led solutions. You can make an executive decision to fund such projects, to tell your teams, hey, you got to adopt something like this. But at the end of the day, what makes these solutions work is the user that is going to use the solution, because they need to allow the AI to assist them, to prompt better, to ask it questions, because the AI is continuously learning along with the users of it, right? So I think organization change management continues to be a challenge. There are ways to tackle them. You need to practice a lot of empathy towards the people who are going to use it, with time and care, design a plan that is going to work for them, educate them on what's the purpose of this AI being here, how is it going to make their lives better, aspects like that. So in summary, three key concerns that I'm hearing about: your regulatory needs, your return over investment, and the organization change management once you roll out such initiatives.
It also sounds like a key common theme is, data management and processes and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit more about what Quantify's offerings are around that and maybe the unique aspects of it?
Sure. So let me give you an example, right? How we generally deploy our solutions is we keep in mind that anything stiff from a solution standpoint is gonna trigger a lot of OCM needs, organization change management needs. So we keep our solutions very flexible in terms of integrating with the current systems, flexible in terms of learning with the users, flexible in terms of what kind of skills will enable such a project or solution, etc. So our focus generally is in flexibility. If I can give you an example, one of our products, Quantiphi, when we deploy it for a customer, say I'm doing a submission use case, we are not gonna, change the experience layer that an underwriter is using to, sort of write a certain risk. If they have an existing underwriting workbench, we will integrate to that. We will make sure that the experience, if they are using direct experience layer of Quantiphi, we will make sure that the experience is modified for the kind of users, for their business needs, customized for their needs, etc. So our focus has always been to, create something that is flexible, that people can adapt faster to, and does not trigger a lot of OCM kind of needs within the ecosystem, and keep those integrations open.
Oh, and LLMs in particular have been a really hot topic here at ITC, and I'm assuming that kind of scalability and integration really applies to those as well at Quantify.
Yes, absolutely. Like one of our products, it's basically a solution suite called Codera, which has multiple AI models that can look at where your historical code is residing, translate that code. Say if your business and you're giving me requirements, it can summarize those requirements, it can create code out of those requirements, get test cases created, etc. So everything we are trying to build it in such a way that it can scale across multiple solutions, across different parts of the organization.
Brilliant. It's really interesting. Thank you. And just kind of to wrap things up a little bit, as someone who's a bit of a veteran of the insurance industry, have you got any advice for insurance executives who are perhaps building their strategy for AI in the future for their business?
That's a great question. I appreciate you asking it because, what we have seen is organizations that are open to adopting AI or have been open to adopting AI in the last 4 or 5 years are the ones that are ahead of the curve now, right? So, two things only that I would request executives to consider. First one being, we will have to make some bold decisions. There'll be a lot of, asks and question marks around why this, why that. If you think about it, Emily, we don't know what is the technology of the future. When generative AI came in, no one knew this is possible. No one knew you can create such agentic workflows, right? So we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So it's important we consider reimagining these business processes a little more boldly. Let AI play a critical role. Now, that will also trigger a lot of questions from the regulatory bodies who are trying to keep a control over the domain. Rightly so. But I think it'll require a lot of patience, and we have to start somewhere. Let's start it. Let's try, test, fail, try something else. But it's very important that executives start opening up that room for experimenting with AI on how AI can transform their businesses, have that vision, because, we don't know what's the technology of the future. And we want to be, ahead of our competition at any point in time.
Amazing. That sounds amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for your time. And thank you to Tint as well for sponsoring the Live at ITC studio set. We couldn't have done it without you.